21st. It is almost Christmas. There's a couple days to go. There's just random things I would like to discuss with you guys today that I went to Target this morning. This is the most random live stream you're ever gonna be in on my channel, just FYI. So I went to Target this morning because I needed to pick up a couple of different things because Christmas is in a few days, right? So I needed to pick up a couple things, and I knew that going into Target was going to be the worst idea in the history of ideas due to the fact that it was going to be beyond crowded. It was going to be a small mini zoo, and I was prepared for it. What I was not prepared for, y'all, were how stupid people were inside this Target. And let me explain. It's supposed to be like the season of, and I hate saying this word, Kamala Harris has ruined it. It's supposed to be the season of joy, right? The season of love and happiness and helping others and giving and stuff like that. And going into Target, just walking into it, the people honking at each other to hurry up and either back out of the parking spot or walk across the parking lot or do whatever it is. I was like, oh, ew, already setting a really gross tone here, people, just so we're all fully aware. Then I get inside the store and they thankfully have lanes open. There's a few lanes open and there's self-checkout. But people, I don't understand. I think it's just what's happened in the last 4 years where people don't know how to deal with emotions or impatience, or I don't know why people are the way they are these days. But there was this one lady, and it's always this one lady. I'm not going to call her Karen. I don't know what she could have just been having a really bad day, right? But this one lady. So the entire store is full of people. You have kids in there behaving mostly. There was like one who was losing his ever-loving mind, but he was a toddler. So I'm going to, not blame that on the parents. It's a toddler. He's like 2 or 3. He's probably just terrible twos or something. But there's kids in there, there's old people in there, there's young people in there, there's everybody and their mom in there, and everybody's standing in line, and most people are just standing around, playing on their phones, maybe talking to whoever's with them, whatever. And this lady has a basket, the little handheld baskets instead of the cart. If you have a cart worth of stuff, I don't get behind you. I already know it's going to take a very long time. I look for the lines where more people have baskets than carts, because that doesn't generally take as long, right? So this lady has just a basket. And I'm guessing she only had 2 or 3 things in this basket. And she was going up to people in every single flipping line and seeing if she could get in front. So the way this works is the self-checkout, I don't know how to show you guys this, but the self-checkout's like right here, and you have your regular lanes. Well, for the self-checkout, the line goes all the way this way, right? And so then the lanes, the regular lanes, the lines are going inside it. So it looks like kind of like a rainbow. It's kind of what it looks like with all the different lanes of people, right? So I'm in the back rainbow. I'm in the self-checkout one because I also just have a basket and I've got a couple things in it, and I'm not about to stand in the longer lines for people with really full carts, right? So I'm standing towards the back of this line. And this lady walks up. She's probably like 4 or 5 people behind me. I was probably like 10, 15 people back. She walks up and she's looking, and you know how, because I'm watching everybody. It's what I do for numerous reasons. Number one, because I don't trust people, and I stay head on a swivel all day long, because now is the time when a lot of people are losing their ever-loving minds, like the Saudi Arabian dude who drove his car through the Christmas market in Germany. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But I watch for people. I watch for people who look shifty, who look shady, who look like they're about to do something nefarious, right? Because anybody can carry a weapon on them anywhere. So I pay attention to what's going on. Plus, I like to people watch. It gives me something to do while I'm standing in line by myself. So I'm standing there, and the lady walks up, like I said, maybe 4 or 5 people behind me. She's got her little basket. She's probably in her 50s, 60s. I don't know, because some people age like milk and some people age like fine wine. So who knows? So she's probably 50s, 60s, late 50s, early 60s. She walks up with her basket and she starts doing this number. You know that thing where you like start peering around and looking and to see what people have? And then she's like looking at the lines, and she's the last one in the self-checkout, whatever. So she gets out and she's going up to, you know how where the conveyor belt starts? She's going up to the person at the conveyor belt and going, hey, I just have, and however many she's saying, 2 or 3, whatever number she's giving them, can I just get in front of you? And nobody's telling her yes. And I'm going to sound like a bitch, but I wouldn't have said yes either. Ma'am, wait your turn. You are not better or more special than anybody else who had to also stand in this line. Wait your turn. So she goes up to 4 or 5 different lanes to ask if she can cut in front, and nobody said yes. This woman takes her basket, holds it over her head, and slams it onto the ground, and is like, fuck y'all, and just leaves. And I was like, what just happened? Maybe there were tampons in there. Maybe there was some Midol in there. Maybe chocolate and ice cream. I didn't really see what was in the basket. She was in front of me by that point at one of the other registers. But the way she hulked out, lifted this basket up, and just slammed it onto the ground, I was like, oh, I don't want to be anywhere near you while you're going out in this parking lot. And this is why I keep my head on a swivel, because it could, if she had swung, y'all, I just thought about that. If she had swung that basket at somebody, my jail fund would have had to be enacted, because I would have been like, ma'am, this is where I tackle you and pin your arms behind you. Pretend like I'm some sort of, police training, military training. I have none. I've just watched a lot of videos and movies and TV shows. So obviously I'm trained in my mind. I would have had to tackle her. That could have been fun, actually. But anyway, but the people are losing their friggin' minds. It's Christmas, y'all. It's Christmas. You were supposed to love everybody and be, well, most people, some people still suck, but it's supposed to be the time of giving, the time of joy, whatever else. And this woman just was not feeling it. So I just want to tell you what happened at Target this morning. And it felt like a Walmart kind of scenario. Like that felt like a Walmart situation. Speaking of Walmart, y'all, did you see the video of this guy? So there's this guy on TikTok. I don't think I have his name saved here. Hold on. There's this guy on TikTok. What's his name? Do I have his name? Yes. So his name is Whey Coletti. This guy on TikTok named Whey Coletti, he does really stupid things, according to this. I saw the video yesterday. Then Colin Rugg just reposted it and put a little context to it, because all I saw was the video and immediately thought, and there goes my jail bail money once again going into action. Because this guy, Whey Coletti, he's known for filming himself wreaking havoc in public. He's got 328,000 followers on TikTok, all right? And this is what he did. I don't know if there's volume here. I don't think so. This is what he did. Oh, this is the end of the video. No. Is this the end of the video? I want you guys to see exactly what this man did. Is this the one? Oh, look. So he walks up with, this is Raid or whatever it's called. And he's, hello. What is happening to my iPad here? Y'all, when the stuff don't want to do its job, I want you to see this video of this guy. Is this going to play? He walks up with this, you see the hot shot, the bed bug stuff, and he is spraying. He is spraying food. He is spraying vegetables and everything else. He even sprays rotisserie chicken. He is going around spraying this stuff on food inside a Walmart, which that's why I said Walmart mentality. And it made me think of this guy. That could kill somebody. You're supposed to wash your fruits and vegetables and all this other stuff, but not everybody does. Not everybody can. And you're still going to handle the stuff. But for this guy to think that it's okay to go up there and spray this stuff on there, I'm like, bro, that's not cool. And some people in the comments of these things are like, that's attempted murder and all these other things. It is absolutely disgusting. And there's 328,000 people at least who think that what he is doing is okay because they follow him on TikTok. But y'all, he sprayed the flipping chicken. Wait, how do you, because you can't just wash that part off. Look, wait, he gets to the, rotisserie and he sprays the rotisserie chicken stuff. Again, if I had seen this, I would have had to tackle him and, like I had half a clue what I was doing, and then somebody's gonna have to bail me out of jail. Can you imagine my arrest report? They're like, why is she being arrested? Because she tackled a guy who was spraying bug killer all over chicken and whatever else. Just absolutely ridiculous to me. Anyway, so that's that. How you guys doing? Are you having a fabulous morning? Have you encountered crackheads at Target lately like I have? No? Okay. I want to just bring up a couple different things to your attention. Number one, I've got good old Whoopi and Joe Biden in the thumbnail for a reason, because I was reminded of that time when Whoopi Goldberg, bless her heart, had one of the dumbest moments in TV history. I'm going to play this video for you. You guys, I'm sure you've seen this. It was all over the place for the longest time. Just listen to this.
When Dr. Jill becomes a Surgeon General, his wife. Yeah. Joe Biden's wife, because he would never do it, but she's a hell of a doctor. She's an amazing doctor.
She's an amazing doctor.
She's a doctor and PhD. Yeah. I could be wrong. I think she's a teacher, but,
I mean, they're all morons. They're all morons. But the reason I showed it to you, because whoever posted it, they were like, remember when Joy Reid said this thing? And I'm like, well, here's the thing. Joy Reid, she is not. It's definitely Whoopi's dumbass. But Whoopi Goldberg and Joy Reid, they're both just libtard morons. So I can see where the confusion came in, but I saw that and I was like, oh, and that woman is still on The View. She's still on the air. People are still tuning into her every single day to hear her talk about whatever dumb thing she wants to spew and be completely horrifically wrong about, because she has absolutely no common sense, no knowledge of anything. And The View, they've been talking for the last couple of weeks about how Donald Trump's going to come into office and he's going to take away their freedom of speech, which is the irony there. And they're going to, lose their jobs and blah, 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 blah. And there's two chicks on there, Alyssa Farah something or other Griffith, I don't know her real name, and then some other blonde chick who I feel like my husband and I, Kevin, were talking about this earlier today, and I think he mentioned it in a video he did yesterday or today or something. But I feel like those two are trying real hard to save their asses, while Whoopi Goldberg and Joy Behar and Sunny Hostin or whatever, they're doing everything they can to get themselves canned off The View. The Sarah Hines, thank you. Who said that? Bueno Beyond? I think that's what it says. Sarah Hines, that's her name. So yesterday or someday, the Alyssa Farah whatever Griffin whatever chick, she made some kind of comment where she was like, I don't remember exactly how she phrased it, but she said something along the lines of they don't want to hear what she has to say because she's a Republican or something else. And I was like, please hold. Please hold. That feels real rhino-ish, because you've been talking just as much shit about every Republican, every conservative possible over the last however many months or years you've been on that show. Any clip that I pull up from The View, because I will not watch a whole episode, I would literally rather put my face in boiling acid or run into traffic or something like that. Cannot do it. But the clips that I do end up having to peruse so we can have certain conversations, she is not any better than the rest of them. She will tone it down and she will give credit where credit is due. If a Republican has done something that they deem is absolutely stupid and she doesn't agree with, she will say it. But at the same time, she is just as bad as they are. But I feel like she's trying very hard right now to cover her ass and keep herself employed, her and the Sarah Hines chick, because at no point in time do I remember her ever being called a Republican, ever referring to herself as a Republican, ever having anybody on The View refer to her as a Republican. So that was just interesting to me, especially right now when we're talking about all the different rhinos, because, you had the people that were voting against the bill, the CR bill that went up, and people were upset about it. Well, we talked about it yesterday before it finally passed, by the way, it passed, which is also when we talked about this yesterday or the day before, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris rushing back to the White House. Here I was thinking it's because World War III had popped off between Russia and Ukraine, because Putin literally said they have started a war, like, meaning Ukraine has started like World War III. They have, how did he phrase it? I don't know how he phrased it. He said something along the lines, the war is on. Whatever. But I thought that was what it's going to be about, either that or because of Syria or something else. But it turns out, and because I am new to politics and I don't know all of the ins and outs of it, and I'm learning as I go, you guys are helping me immensely, so thank you for that. It turns out the reason they had to rush back is because of the fact that if the bill passed, Biden had to be able to sign it, number one. And if there was a tie, Kamala Harris had to be the tiebreaker, as she has been on numerous things where she was the tiebreaker that fucked our country for the last 4 years. Every time she broke a tie, it was in a negative way that impacted our country, not in a positive one. Just all remember that. But that's why they both had to come back. But my first question was, well, why did they leave in the first place? Were they expecting the first one to get kicked out? That first CR bill that they put through that was like 1,600 pages, 1,547. Were they expecting that not to work, so they weren't there on purpose? Were they hoping for a government shutdown? Because you had Karine Jean-Pierre say that if the government shut down, it would make it difficult for there to be a transition of power to Donald Trump. And so I'm thinking, oh, is that what they've wanted this whole time? Like, is that the whole reason they put through this omnibus CR thing? Because they were hoping that it would put everything at a standstill or a stall, and then the government would shut down, something would happen, and then when it's time to bring Donald Trump in on January 20th, they would find some way to halt it, right? Constitutionally, they cannot, but according to everything the Democrats have shown us the last 4 years, they could give two shits about the Constitution or following anything that it says, right? Right. So when they had the Bidens and Kamala stop their plans to go to Delaware and California respectively. It was because they were expecting them to have to be able to sign off or break a tie on the last, not the last one, but the second CR bill that was put in place by Trump, that, well, not by him, but that he approved of, right? So that's why they were back, in case anybody was curious. Donald Trump, no, sorry, Joe Biden did end up signing off. So there is no government shutdown. Everything has been reached, which is great, But what's crazy here is, if you guys have been paying attention to, I'm going to say mainstream media, but even social media the last couple days, you've heard the child cancer research mentioned 10,000 times by the left, that the big omnibus CR that was voted no, that the reason it was an awful thing is because Republicans voted not to give cancer research money to children. That's what they kept saying. Oh, Elizabeth Warren, notorious for, running her mouth and not saying a goddamn thing. She was like, oh, well, they voted no and it's on the Republicans that now we're not going to have money for cancer research for children. Just to be completely like, what the crap here, didn't Joe Biden just give billions upon billions of dollars to other countries in the last like 48, 72 hours that he could have just said, oh, let's put this towards cancer research for kids? He could have just done that. He's the president of the United States. If he's going to give $1.2 billion to Ukraine, he could give $1.2 billion to cancer research, to childhood cancer research. If he's going to give $1 billion to Africa, he could have taken that $1 billion to Africa and given it to the childhood cancer research. All these different things that they want to crap on Republicans for, they easily could have done over the past 4 years. But here's what's absolutely crazy. The Cancer Research Fund part of the bill was approved by the Republicans, by the House in March of this year, and it went to the Senate, and Chuck Schumer sat on it since March. And now the only reason that it got passed is because it was put into this omnibus, and he had to say yes to it to go with everything else. But the left and mainstream media are not going to tell you that that is the case. Instead, they're going to put it out there. Elon Musk is trying to be president, which isn't possible. And that because of Elon Musk, they didn't want to give cancer research funding to children. And it's all lies. It's all complete and utter BS. And I'm hoping over the next 4 years that, thanks to X and other social media platforms where there are people with voices who are willing to speak up, that there will be less and less retarded Democrats. Like, that hopefully they get their heads out their asses and see what's going on, and instead of parroting everything. So look, legacy media were frothing at the mouth so hard to attack Republicans that they failed to fact check when they tried the Trump and Elon are ending childhood cancer research narrative. House Republicans already passed it, and Dems have refused to pass it in the Senate. Attack is now backfiring. Why are Senate Dems refusing to fund pediatric cancer research? Is there anything they don't lie about? Which is true, because you have here, and again, I assume this stuff is still backwards. I don't know. It says Chris Hayes, Elon Musk took $190 million away from kids with cancer. How? Elon Musk is not voting on anything. He is not in the House. He's not in the Senate. He's not in Congress in any way, shape, or form. He's not any political person. He has no control over this. But the left is going to, oh, Elon bad, right? Okay, so the MSNBC host says the GOP cut funding for pediatric cancer research because the richest man in the world, worth $250 billion, told them to. Is that a good enough reason? Even if that was true, because somebody told them to, that's why they would do it. Still, absolutely no sense. Then in Rolling Stone, it said, Republicans cut child cancer research from funding bill after Musk's meddling. The House GOP has been in a state of chaos after the billionaire led a campaign to kill a bipartisan funding bill. Well, he led a campaign to make it a transparent bipartisan funding bill so that the American people understood what they were getting roped into with a 1,547-page omnibus, right? That's what really happened. So then you have a smaller one come out, and then they stop talking because there's nothing else they can say. This is the Republicans. Look, I'm going to show this to you if I can get this thing to come up. Wait. On March 5th, is when it went through the House, and March 6th it was received in the Senate. On March 8th, it was read twice and referred to the Committee on Health, Education, Labor, and Pensions, and Chuck Schumer did nothing with it. Absolutely nothing. So since March 8th, there has been money that could have gone to childhood cancer research since March 8th. But because Chuck Schumer didn't want to put it through, the Democrats didn't want to put it through, there's been no research, no $190 million worth of money given to research. So anybody out there whose child has had any sort of pediatric cancer over the last 9 months and has had any adverse side effects, or hasn't been able to get into any doctors, or hasn't had the ability to have chemo or whatever is necessary, blame it on the Democrats, not the Republicans. Blame it where the blame actually lies. And it's not just honestly, it's not just a Republican Democrat thing most of the time, but here it clearly is. When you have the Democrats pointing fingers and saying the Republicans stop this, instead of owning up to the fact that it was their own master, their head of whatever, that sat on this, that's absolutely crazy to me. And it does paint the Democrats in a very, very bad light. It puts their omnibus as being more important than the kids. That's what it comes down to. My personal opinion on that one, y'all. So there's that. Hold on. I have a lot, but it is Saturday and I know you guys would like to get on with your lives, so we're not doing a very long one here. Breaking though, President Joe Biden signs a bill averting a government shutdown after President-elect, this is hilarious how they phrase this, after President-elect Donald Trump's intervention imperiled its congressional passage. Oh, Associated Press, y'all are full of shit, but it's fine. Remember how yesterday we talked about the fact that each of the policies were supposed to get voted on line by line? That was Thomas Massey's call, just so we're all fully aware. We talked about yesterday. I was like, is this the first time in history this has ever happened where they go policy by policy and vote? And it was Thomas Massey who called for separating each bill and voting on them each individually instead of a big combined bill. He said separate the bills and vote on them individually, individual bills for each issue, which was a great idea. Oh, I give myself hiccups again. What is this one? Biden admin drone situation. That's going to have to happen later. Also today is, let's do math, like 7 years since Elon Musk posted, I love Twitter, and Dave Smith goes, you should buy it then. And he said, how much is it? That was the beginning of Elon Musk buying Twitter and turning it into X. Y'all, there's a ton of stuff that we could talk about here. How COVID's been planned for years in advance, how Germany has lost its ever-loving mind. The guy who drove through the Christmas parade in Germany, killing dozens. I think is what they said. I mean, the number is really up there at this point, and injuring way more. He was a Saudi Arabian convict, or they wanted him in Saudi Arabia. He left and went to Germany. Germany gave him basically a safe place to be, even though he was wanted in Saudi Arabia for doing bad things. And Germany was like, no, we're going to let him stay here. And then that's what they get. I have a whole bunch of stuff on it, but I don't really want to go through that one right now because it's a little too depressing at this point, with it being Christmas stuff and children were involved in what happened there. So we're just gonna show you this really dumb picture of Lindsey Graham. He's a very unattractive human being, just so we're all fully aware. Even if you like Lindsey Graham, he is very, very, very unattractive man. But according to this, well, I lost it, so it doesn't really matter. Where are we? Bookmark. Oh, Lindsey Graham selected to be the next Senate Budget Committee chair. Just FYI, in case you guys were curious, that is who will be the next Senate Budget Committee chair. Oh, this is the one I wanted to show you guys, and then we'll be done. This woman, just, you know what, just listen to her. Just listen to her. And it's one of those things where you almost can't fault her given how expensive everything is, but at the exact same time, it puts absolutely no faith in our military when it's full of people like this. Listen.
I would just like to announce that I did not join the military to serve my country. I joined the military to get a VA home loan, the GI Bill, and student loan forgiveness.
Yeah, that's why she joined. Not because she gave two craps about our country, not because she was willing to fight for our country and for the people in it, the men and women and children in it, but because she wanted a VA home loan and she wanted college tuition reimbursement. A lot of people join the military for those kind of reasons. And it doesn't really give you the warm and fuzzies. It doesn't really make you feel safe, right? Especially when we are possibly on the verge of being part of some big global just absolute shitstorm, given what's going on with Russia and Ukraine, and there's nuclear weapon talks. We have the drones in Jersey that they said are looking for missing nuclear weapons. All of these things. It's not very I don't know the right word. It's not very, doesn't really matter what the word is. My brain is not braining any more caffeine today. Either way, I would hope that going forward, we will have more people who are willing, who are joining our military because they want to protect our country. If they also get the perks of a VA home loan or the perks of paid tuition, that's great. But I don't want that to be the only reason somebody joins up for the military, because then when it's time to actually go to war and they put you on a front line, what are you going to do? You're going to cower, you're going to hide, you're going to turn tail and run. You're not going to have the person next to you, you're not going to have their back, have their six, none of that stuff. And that's not comforting for reassuring. Thank you. Hey, Zeus, some days my brain. It's not very reassuring for the people who are there to protect and serve, right? It's crazy to me. But if we also had, if it was also easier to afford school or afford a home, maybe this wouldn't be a situation that people are taking advantage of. Is it taking an advantage or is it being smart? That's a really good question, because if it wasn't the military, if it was anything else, I would be like, girl, you're smart, right? But because it is the military, I'm like, ooh, that feels like you're taking advantage. I know, likey, right? And that feels hypocritical in a way, but it makes sense to me. So, y'all, listen. Like I said, it's Saturday. I got to go in the grocery store. Got a lot of stuff to do. Very short live compared to most of my other lives. I hope y'all have a fabulous rest of your Saturday. I'm going to see you again tomorrow at some point. Hopefully you're getting everything done that you need for the holiday season, for Christmas and New Year's time to hang out with family or do whatever it is y'all want to do or what works best for y'all. I got to get a couple more things for my family to hang out. And that's about it. I love y'all. I hope you have a good day. Stay away from crackheads and target lines who look like they're going to Hulk out and lose their shit. Or the next time somebody asks if they can cut in front of you, just say yes, because you just never know who's going to lose it. So there's that. Okay, guys. Love you. Goodbye. Adios.